Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amelia Afriani, and today I want to present about dwelling time. And without any further ado, let's get started. Dwelling time is the time calculated from loading and unloading of containers and unloading of goods on board until the containers leave the port through the main gate. Or in other words, the waiting time for loading and unloading containers from the ship until they are ready to be shipped. And the next is the difference between the dwelling time of Tanjung Priok and Tanjung Perak. The waiting time for loading and unloading of containers or dwelling time at the port of Tanjung Perak, Surabaya is claimed to be faster than at the port of Tanjung Priok, Jakarta. The first, dwelling time at Tanjung Perak is a maximum of 2.9 days. As for Tanjung Priok port, it is still 3.4 days. And the second is Tanjung Priok port is said to have implemented strict regulation that require importers to immediately move containers from the stacking yard within 3 days. And more than that, importers will be charged 5 million per container a day. Meanwhile, at the port of Tanjung Perak, importers are charged a cheaper additional fee, namely 244,000 per container a day. And the next we will discuss the issue of dwelling time at Tanjung Priok. In 2016, Indonesia became the largest in dwelling time when compared to other ASEAN countries. To overcome this problem, the government tried to give equity of industrial revolution, starting with the regulation of export and import, especially by sea freight, and the government made it easier to access. And what government should do to overcome this problem? The first, goods that have entered the port must be released immediately so that they do not become a burden on dwelling time. So it is better to function the container of or goods terminal at the port only as a place for loading and unloading goods, not for a place for hoarding or storing goods. And the second is imposing section in the form of fines to companies that are slow in processing documents. So far, many export-import players have deliberately slowed down document processing for various reasons, so the goods have been stuck at the port for a long time. And the third, imported imported goods that do not have a permit might not be unloaded at the port. So every exporter is required to include a permit for shipping goods. Those who have not arranged for a permit are prohibited from entering and unloading at the port so that it does not cause accumulation of goods at the port. And the fourth, requiring and enhancing infrastructure facilities at the port to make it more modern and sophisticated. By requiring this, infrastructure facilities will help everything become more efficient and faster. And the last is fifth, open an alternative port, which will help Tanjung Priok port to serve export and import. And in addition to reducing congestion at Tanjung Priok, this will also lower logistic costs for industries in the area. And next, the conclusion is so, in order to prevent the build-up of expensive containers at the port is to speed up the customs clearance process for imported goods. And The slow custom clearance process by importers result in the loading and unloading of goods being hampered for export and import goods at seaport. And that's all for my presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.